If you don't got 100 million for me, don't even talk to me about it. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear. Basically, let me translate, because we know Crawford don't like to do too much trash talk.
Where does Canelo go from here, Henry?
He needs to rematch. If I'm Canelo, I want to rematch Terence Crawford. He got schooled, bro. He got outboxed, dude, by Terence Crawford. And I know that he's itching to get that one back. The first time he fought Triple G, and he came back the second time, and he legit beat Triple G.
Once in a lifetime fight. It doesn't need to be a rematch. I think Bud would do worse the next fight. He would put it on Canelo a little worse than that, because that style of fight, I don't think he beats someone like Terence Crawford. But if I'm Terence Crawford, of course I'll fight him again. But this time, I'm the A side. I think Terence Crawford is going to be more confident next time, knowing that I can punch with this guy. I can take his shot. I'm faster.
He fought Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
He didn't do what the last two did, just run. He threw at him. I'm going to call your bluff, bro. I'm going to fight you.
You're not going to believe this, but Terence Crawford has officially agreed to a rematch with Canelo Alvarez on one condition that has already shocked promoters, angered fans, and put Turki Alalshik in a real dilemma. And yes, this condition is so extreme, it could make or break the entire fight. After weeks of rumors, silent negotiations, and leaked Mexican media reports, the rematch that nobody thought would happen is suddenly back on the table. But Crawford isn't stepping into the ring unless the deal hits a number that most fighters will never see in their entire careers. Let's break it all down. According to multiple insiders and a now viral TV Azteca report, Canelo Alvarez has already told his team that a Crawford rematch is his top priority for 2026. He wants revenge, he wants his belts back, and he wants to erase the worst performance of his career. Crawford heard that and responded with one sentence that froze the entire boxing world. If they don't give me 100 million, it's not happening. Not 60, not 80, a full $100 million, non-negotiable. His trainer Bernie confirmed it, Crawford confirmed it, and now Turki Alalshik has to decide whether he wants to drop 9 figures on a rematch that many fans felt wasn't even entertaining the first time.
Terence Crawford is Terence Crawford is demanding Turki Alalshik to give him $100 million in order for the Canelo rematch to go down. Now, there is a rematch clause going on between Canelo and Crawford. Obviously, everybody knows that, but if he's not going to get the $100 million, that I'm going to be honest with you, I think he truly deserves $100 million for everything that he has gone through in the sport of boxing. The $100 million, number one. But if he doesn't get it, all he has to do is just wait out the contract. There's terms in the contract. Now, in regards to terms, we don't know what the terms hold. I don't know if it's 6 months, a year, whatever the case may be. And if not, if they don't come up with an agreement to fight and Crawford doesn't get $100 million, if Canelo then decides not to fight him and decides to go somewhere else, then the contract is voided out. It's completely over and done with. And Crawford just can go about his business. But Crawford, stay on the $100 million. And on top of that, the fight should be in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm telling you, $100 million, and the fight should be in Omaha, Nebraska. Let me know in the comments what you think, y'all.
This isn't trash talk. This isn't a rumor. This is the condition. People forget that Crawford already beat Canelo convincingly. Not a controversial win, not a disputed decision. He outboxed him, outtimed him, and made the so-called face of boxing look slow, flat, and confused. He did it after jumping up 2 divisions and becoming the first male boxer in the 4-belt era to become undisputed in 3 weight classes. Canelo lost, Crawford won. Simple.
What was his power like? Have you been hit by anybody that strong before?
I've been hit harder.
No, in a real fight, not a sparring.
In a real fight. Not Avanesian, but Mean Machine hit harder than Canelo, to me. To be honest.
Terence. Congratulations.
So from Crawford's perspective, he doesn't need a rematch. He doesn't need to prove anything. He already made history.
Saw you before the fight, the Crawford-Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. GOAT. Greatest of all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches. Not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists. Everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
If Canelo wants redemption, Crawford wants compensation, $100 million. No discount, no friendly deal, no legacy price. He wants what he believes his performance is worth. And honestly, in a world where Jake Paul is getting heavyweight paydays, Crawford isn't being shy about demanding his number.
Double fake to your left. Double fake to your right. Double fake to your left.
You.
Step back, rhythm. Step back, rhythm. Rhythm, y'all.
Still got some abs.
Double fake, double fake. Double fake.
Turki Alashik isn't just a promoter. He's the most powerful man in boxing right now. He single-handedly revived the heavyweight division. He brought cross promotions together. He has the money, the influence, and the vision to make fights happen that were previously impossible. And he knows the rematch would bring global attention.
This fight will not happen if we are not involved as Gia, Riyadh season, Saudi Arabia. This is truth. Because even with what the relationship with Netflix, and we are very happy about it, still this fight costs more and more.
Canelo wants revenge. Mexico wants revenge. And Crawford wants a bag big enough to retire forever. If any promoter on earth is going to write a $100 million check, it's Turki. But here's the twist. Insiders say the first fight didn't deliver the excitement needed to justify a rematch at that price. The first fight was called boring, technical, smart, but not explosive. Fans expected a war. They got a chess match, and that's where the risk comes in.
It's a whole lot of confusion online about why you gave them belts back. People really think you got them belts and you were supposed to keep them and you gave them back. Belts is like a trophy, you know, so of course, after the fight, we get the belts. We get to take pictures with the belts, but them his personal belts. I'm gonna get my own personal belts. Well, we gotta return the belts. So the respect that I have for him, just like I have for Spence, you know, just like I have for any other champ that I took their belts from. I personally wanted to give the belts back to Canelo. You know, that's a sign of respect. So, you know, I'm looking for him. I'm like, hey, you know, where Canelo at? They like, oh, he in the press conference. They didn't want to let me in at first because they thought that we was trying to, you know what I mean, be on bullshit or whatever the case may be. So I like, hey, man, open the door, man. I'm trying to give him his belts back. Like, I can come by myself because, you know, I was with everybody and they was just like, all right, you know what I mean? We don't want y'all trying to come in here and bombard his press. I said, I'll wait, you know what I mean? Like, it's all respect, you know, and I just, you know, told him, thank you again, you know what I mean? This is like a sign of respect. I want to be the one to give you your belts back because, you know, you didn't have to fight me, and it's just, you know, a sign of respect.
That's one thing I've always respected about you, bro, is like, you know, you are a competitor, but when you win, you don't disrespect nobody. You don't try to, you know, drag nobody through the mud. Like the same thing with Spence, you know, all the talk that was had and all the stuff that was said, not just from him, but just fan bases. You could have easily did that, you know, and been like, I told y'all. And you did do that, but it wasn't in a disrespectful way. And you probably could have celebrated more and you didn't, bro. So I respect that about you. You know when to be a competitor and when to be a man and say, you know, I've done enough.
Let's keep it real. A lot of fans and analysts believe the rematch is unnecessary. Crawford already decoded Canelo. He already took the belts. He already made history.
I believe they have a rematch clause. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of wording because Canelo doesn't enter a fight without some kind of wording in terms of rematch clause. But he's just not going to beat Terence Crawford. It's the style's all wrong for him. The movement's all wrong for him. And that's what I said. You know, going into the fight, I really believed Crawford would win in the style that he did. And then just as it got a bit closer at the weigh-in, I was like, my heart was like, nah, Canelo's got this, you know. And but deep down, I kind of knew that it was all wrong for him. And to be honest with you, Canelo knew it was all wrong for him. You know, I had the conversation with Canelo Alvarez probably, I don't know, a year ago, about Terence Crawford. And he was like, no, why would I fight Terence Crawford? Like, you know, he hates that style. And when he fought Charlo, I remember him being really disappointed that Charlo just moved and moved and moved. And that's why he ended up fighting Munguia and Berlanga. because they're guys that wouldn't do that and they'd stand in front of him, and that suits him down to the ground. Anyone that's got movement like Skull, like Crawford, like, you know, he really struggles against. And when he was a bit younger and fresher, he could probably get away with it and cut it off, and, you know, but then you see guys like Bivol and, you know, Crawford and these guys beat him because of that movement. And I don't know what he does again. I mean, you know, the biggest money fight out there for him is the rematch with Crawford.
And most importantly, Canelo didn't show anything that suggests he can beat Crawford in a second fight. The size advantage didn't matter, the power didn't matter, the experience didn't matter. Crawford was simply better.
You know what? Sometimes you try and your body cannot go, right? That's my frustration. Maybe I can figure out Crawford, but my body cannot go anymore. So I try it, but my body just not let me go.
So promoters are asking a simple question. If the first fight wasn't thrilling and the second fight might go the same way, why should they risk $100 million? Especially when Crawford is already 38 and isn't known for wild brawls. That number is scary high.
It's wild because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, then I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Yes. That makes a difference to people.
Here's where things get interesting. Canelo's entire legacy is built on being the face of boxing. The guy who takes all the big challenges. The guy who wins big fights and dominates entire divisions. Crawford messed that up. The loss didn't just hurt his record, it hurt his identity. For the first time in forever, Canelo didn't look like a superstar. He looked human, he looked slow, and he looked beatable.
He needs to make a change, I think. I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford. Because Crawford, you know, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit. But don't give up. Keep going until you hit him.
Reports say Canelo told his team that he can't stomach the idea of ending his career with Crawford being the final stamp on his record. He wants redemption. He wants his belts back. And he wants the world to know he can still beat the elite. The motivation is real.
I beat this guy. It's an excuse. I beat this guy. You know, he's too young or whatever. So I'm never really going to give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, you know, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career. You know, we really didn't realize it until now when he's like doing extraordinary stuff, like going up 2 weight classes to fight the best fighter in that division, the #1 guy that's the face of boxing, you know. And the way that I handled that, people like, oh man, something had to be wrong. Canelo had to be washed, or Canelo just wasn't in it. I see people saying, oh, Turkey paid for Canelo to lose, you know. So I just think, you know, when you that much better than the competition, you know, people are not going to give you credit until they sit down and look at it and just be like, man, that dude was good.
But the question is it worth $100 million? Crawford isn't the same hungry underdog anymore. He has every belt, no, every accolade, every historic achievement. He has nothing left to prove. He also has other options. Jaron Ennis, David Benavidez, Janibe, middleweight champions, even retirement.
Would you consider going back down to 154 and face Jaron Ennis, the guy who prepared Canelo Alvarez for this fight?
Nope. I ain't going down 154.
Crawford could easily walk away from boxing and never look back. But the Canelo rematch could be his last payday and the biggest of his life.
I think Crawford took it way more serious than Canelo, which is kind of weird because, you know, the amount of money that Canelo was making. And I know all these people say, oh, yeah, you know, talking shit about Canelo. I'm not talking shit about him. He just didn't look like he really prepared 100%. He's throwing 10 punches around. Or I think it was his ego is that big that he thought that, oh, I'm just going to walk through him, catch him with a good shot, and it's going to be done. As you can see, Crawford is a different type of fighter. Not only does he have the boxing IQ, he has that dog in him. He was in there, he was brawling with Canelo like in the 8th, 9th, getting the best out of him. Boxing, he's epitome of a great boxer. There's a lot of lessons to be learned in that fight, you know what I mean? If you really want to make something come true and you really believe it, you can make it come true. And then the other lesson is don't let your ego get the best out of you and don't think that you don't have to prepare because you're a bigger fighter, you know what I mean? That shit will bite you in the ass.
For Canelo, this is legacy. For Crawford, this is business. And when legacy meets business, negotiations get messy. Here's the truth everyone is thinking, but not saying. The public isn't begging for a rematch. Crawford dominated too cleanly. There was no robbery, no knockdown, no controversy, no explosive moment. Casual fans call the fight boring. Hardcore fans respect the skill, but admit it wasn't electric.
First of all, congratulations to Crawford. That was beautiful. You know, that was a beautiful performance. But leading into the fight, I just thought the weight difference. Canelo's been active. He was inactive. I knew it would be close, but I thought Canelo would just be a little bit stronger. And you will see the difference in the punches. Just like I thought he would back him up a little bit. But Crawford did a good job with just using that jab, putting his punches together and using his angles. I think that was the most important. I think that's what he did the best. I feel like, easy to say, but I feel like if Canelo would have used his jab a little bit, it would have made it. It would have been. I think he would have did way better. I feel like he was just loading up too much. I feel like if he just used his jab a little bit more and just try to put his punches together without power, he's a natural puncher, he would have did a lot better, but he was loading up. So Crawford was just blocking it and coming back with 3 soft touches. It looked like he wasn't even putting on behind it. He was just touching him the whole fight. And he just boxed him. It was just a beautiful performance.
To justify a 9-figure fight, promoters need global demand. Right now, the demand is lukewarm at best. The first fight underperformed in hype, the second fight might underperform in interest, and a $100 million check might not make financial sense, which makes Crawford's condition even harder to swallow. But here's the twist. Crawford knows exactly what he's doing. By asking for $100 million, he essentially says, if you want me to risk my belts at age 38 against a younger, stronger fighter who wants revenge, you better pay me more than anyone has ever been paid. He's not being greedy, he's being strategic. And in boxing, strategy is everything. If Turkey agrees to Crawford's condition and the rematch happens, it will send shockwaves across the sport. It will prove fighters control the negotiation table. Legacy fights still matter. Stars can demand blockbuster numbers. Boxing is entering a new financial era. But if Turkey refuses and the rematch collapses, that sends a different message. It means promoters won't overpay for slow fights. Legacy fights will be replaced with exciting new blood. The Crawford style won't pull massive numbers. Boxing is shifting toward performance-based paydays. Either way, boxing changes. Canelo already told his team he wants the rematch. He didn't like losing. He didn't like being outclassed. He didn't like how his performance looked worldwide. He's also locked into a 4-fight deal with Turkey, and this rematch fits the kind of blockbuster identity that big networks want.
Canelo Alvarez wants Terence Crawford rematch. I expect nothing less from Canelo. He wants to get that fight back because, well, number one, it's a somewhat advantageous matchup at 168 for him, and there's not many other matchups at 168 for Canelo right now that offer him any sort of advantages. We'll look at the first fight, and the things that plagued Canelo were essentially the things that plague him against most boxers. His flat feet, his lack of movement, his lack of volume. He couldn't get to Terence. He was overextending. He was getting caught with counter shots as he overextended. So what would be different if they fought again? The only thing that I could see that Canelo may be able to do some different things with, you would have to fight Terence Crawford like he fought Sergey Kovalev at 175. That's genuinely what he would have to do. He'd have to be lighter on his feet. He'd have to throw more combinations, and he'd have to be quicker with his hand.
But he has to face a harsh reality. Crawford is older, smarter, and hungrier than he expected, and Canelo hasn't looked like peak Canelo in years. If he loses again, his legacy takes a serious hit.
Crawford did his thing. He looked good. He looked good. He looked strong. He carried the weight well. I mean, he looked good. Can't say nothing bad about it.
Were you a little bit shocked about, how he beat him? Were you a little bit shocked how he beat him? Even because he went up 3 weight classes. Were you just surprised?
Nah, I wasn't shocked. Canelo's not a big guy anyway. Canelo got it that started at 47 and came up to 168. So, I feel like Crawford, he walks around probably 169, 170-ish, shit, whatever. So I feel like it was kind of easy for him to make the weight, and he looked good. He handled it well.
After that fight, there was a lot of talk about Crawford's place in boxing history. You think now, after that win, considered a GOAT or all-time great?
He is one of the greats, for sure.
Sources are now saying Crawford has made his final decision. He will accept the rematch. If the contract pays him $100 million, no more negotiation, no backup plan, no compromise. Crawford's side says, pay him what he's worth or forget it. And believe it or not, insiders are now saying Turkey is actually considering it. Right now, the ball is in Turki Al-Sheikh's court. Canelo wants it. Crawford wants it. For a price. The boxing world is split. But this is the only thing we know for sure. The rematch is happening only if Crawford's brutal condition is met. And if Turkey signs that check, the fight will be the biggest financial gamble in boxing history. So fans, what do you think? Is Crawford worth $100 million? Should Turkey approve the rematch? Will Canelo get revenge or lose even worse this time? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Fight Field. I'll catch you in the next video.